Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. My name is Hetty the Entrepreneur, and welcome to yet another informative episode. As always, I am not flying this plane on my own. I do have my co-pilot with me. Papa Biz, how are you today?
Papa Biz, yeah, it's good to be here. I'm looking forward to this conversation, especially with somebody who's actually part of our mentorship club. So this is going to be good.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to love today's guest. In fact, I've got a sneaky suspicion that you're going to hold on to every single word, because conversations with Zanele Ntombela, who is the founder of Sivahle Bath Salts, I promise you it's always nourishing, it's always wholesome, it's always inspiring. She is an entrepreneur, she's a woman empowerment specialist, she is a life coach, and she is a mom and a loving wife. I really look forward to you meeting her. Zanele, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you, and thanks for having me, guys.
Nice one, man. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I am excited for today's conversation. You are a woman that wears many hats.
Yes.
When you introduce yourself to other people, what do you say?
I am Zanele the life coach.
Yeah.
Because coaching is what I do.
Yeah.
I speak, and when I speak, people listen.
Yes.
But most importantly, I'm just me. I'm just Zanele.
Yes.
A lot of people call me Mazet. Don't know why. It's just known that Zanele just becomes Mazet.
Yeah.
I'm just who I am. I'm just me.
Yeah.
Just speak to me.
I love that. Maybe let's start at the very beginning before we get into the meat of things.
Yes.
Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you were born, what your early kind of, stages in life look like?
I come from Tembisa. 1632 is what they call it. So I come from Tembisa. I was raised by mom and dad. Fortunately, dad passed away when I was doing grade 7.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was just mom taking care of us. So I've got an older brother, the late sister, and then I've got a younger brother.
Okay.
So I went to Creslin Primary. Then I went to Rhodsfield High, which was then War School Rhodsfield.
The word school.
War School. No, don't ask me to speak African. So I just passed it because I had to. But I was a girl from the township. I was very ambitious. I had very big dreams. I loved playing soccer.
Really?
I was the kind of girl who did not like skirts, makeup. I was a bit tomboyish, short hair, me and soccer. And then obviously life happens. You grow out of that. And everything about me has been loud. So people say I'm loud. Some people say my voice is deep. I don't know about that.
It's a powerful voice. I'll say that.
Thank you. Yes, one of my coaches actually said, use that voice.
Yes.
Monetize that voice.
Yes.
That voice needs to pay you. She always says, you've got a voice for radio.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the township. Everything about me happened in the township. I married somebody who's also from the township.
Yeah.
He went to a school down the road. Raised there, went to church there. I did go to church at some point. Into church. But my whole life has been around me coming from the township and me wanting to leave the township. The reason why I wanted to leave, I always felt that abantu abangaphandle, that go to town have got nicer opportunities and whatnot. Until I got married, I left the township, and then I realized, but the people I'm leaving behind, how am I going to help them?
True.
And yes, and I said, I'm going back
Yes.
to the township.
Yes.
And that's where I am now. A lot of my projects now happen ekas. So if you're looking for me, if you ask anybody, Mazet, yeah, Mazet. My dad had a business. My dad had a business in the township. He had a video shop back in the day.
Oh, okay.
So my whole family has, I think I'm who I am today because of them. My mom's an academic. So that's my brother. I followed my mom. But I went, let's go entrepreneur, let's make money.
Yes.
Been things ice cream kaya. I used to sell Tupperware.
You did it all.
Yes, everything when I was younger. You know, I'd go to school, come back, buy ice cream at Kempton Park, sell it.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
so I want to ask. I mean, there's a few things that you've actually touched on.
Yeah.
But just number one. So you said that in your siblings, were you the middle child, the eldest?
Third.
Third, eh?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then now, I've experienced this as well, where I've had friends who'd come to me.
Yeah.
As I was growing up, and now especially with now that they have children,
Yes.
they talk about the importance of the formative years of the child, and I didn't think I was privileged at all. I thought I was just living a normal life, and they'd put to me, how privileged I was having both parents,
Yeah.
at home while we're being raised in our formative years. Do you feel that as well? Do you pick up on that, or not really? Because I mean, you had both parents for quite a significant period in your formative years as well.
Look, when I had my dad, I thought this is what a family is.
Yes.
Because I've got mom, I've got dad, I've got my oldest siblings, I can get away with things. But when my dad passed away, that's when I realized that, hey, this woman has been carrying a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, having me and my younger brother, when my dad passed away, he was doing a grade R.
Sure.
So he doesn't know him. And this woman had to make sure that the two of us go to school, we come back, we had a good life. And my sister had a daughter who's the same age as my baby brother.
Sure. Wow. Eh?
So now it was three of us, these two in grade R, and then it was me. So I knew what it was like. I knew what it was like to have both parents. And I also knew what it was like to have one parent, and it's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder because she had to push me through primary because it was the last year. Then she had to push me through high school. And then comes tertiary. And then what about these two?
Yes.
It was very hard, especially when I had, after matric. So my first year of tertiary was the hardest because I could see the struggle. Mom could not take care of us. I was using a train since high school. I've been humping a train. And so I had to make a decision to say, one of us has to step back.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I sacrificed me so that mom can help these two.
Wow. Look at that. Eh?
So at the age of 19, I went to look for a job.
Sure.
Sure.
So that these two could finish. They went to Edlin Primary, then they went to Rhodesfield High, and then went to tertiary. So this baby brother of mine is now a graduate at University of Pretoria. So, life, when I look at it, I'm saying, yes, I sacrificed me, but it was worth it. Because then I got to realize that, hey, even though I didn't go through school, but I had business.
Yes.
Because then me working at an early age meant I needed to save. I needed to make sure I've got extra. So it meant I needed to start selling more things. I needed,
Yes.
and here I am today.
And speaking as somebody, also where I'm the eldest I've got two other siblings, I'm sure going through something like that, because you have this sense of responsibility, and I think that's what you've spoken about.
Yes.
I'm sure even when they'd be playing around instead of studying or coming with bad grades, I'm sure you had a very hey.
You have no idea. You have no idea. I would, honestly. And especially when that fell. If they,
What do you mean fail?
it felt as a baller. It fell in me like.
Yeah.
And when their wins, oh my goodness. When my brother was graduating, it was as if it was me. I was screaming the loudest because I was happy. I was happy that I could take the load off my mom. And two, the fact that I can say, hey, it's me. I helped you. And I'm happy I did it. Was it easy? No. It wasn't easy.
And I guess, we've experienced, Hetty and I, we actually met at Pretoria University. That was when 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, she studied political science. I was studying actuarial science at the time. And it was interesting. By the time graduation came through, so many, you could see there was this cultural gap where they wouldn't understand, especially with black families, What do you mean I get 2 seats? What are you talking about, right?
Hey, the family's big and they need to show up.
You know, and like as you're explaining, you know, in your situation, I mean, it's like you've gone through it as well.
Yes.
Precisely, you know, and the joy that you feel in that space. And I hear they've changed quite a lot now. But those days, I remember they said, okay, cool, you're going to graduate, you've got 2 seats. I said, there's just no ways.
And sometimes they wouldn't allow things like ululating.
I mean, imagine.
And this is how we express ourselves, our joy.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people underestimate what it's taken to get to that point.
Yes.
That degree or that certificate, it represents so much more than just a piece of paper. It holds so much. It holds stories.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And I think sometimes it kind of gets lost in the corporatization of it all. You know, tell me something. I find that in a lot of African families, we become adultified early.
Yes.
Because of the experiences that we go through.
Yes.
So even as a middle child, you almost then develop the leadership qualities of an eldest because of the sacrifices that you make, etc. Do you find that theme carries out throughout the rest of your life and everything else that you do, whether it's business, parenting, in your marriage, in your friendships, etc.?
I think so because some people have said to me that I like to dominate. I like being controlling. And one of my friends actually said, you're too much of a mom. And and I think it's because of that. I've had to take the responsibility from an early age. And it's become a part of me. You know, when I can't let things crumble. You know, I need to try. And sometimes that gets to you.
Yeah.
You try so much, and when you see which things are falling apart and you're putting in so much and you ask it, but guys, don't you understand? And when somebody says, but I didn't ask you.
Sure.
You know, I didn't ask you, you know, but why are you doing this? But I helped raise you, but I didn't ask you. This is what you're not my mom. I didn't ask you to do these things. You did it because you wanted to. And when I have to say, but I sacrificed me so that you could have these things, but who asked you to do it? You know, so it does. And I feel it's not fair because there's so many of people who are like me who've had to put their lives on hold.
Yes.
Basically.
You put your dreams on hold. You put, because I had dreams as well. You know, I'm not where I wanted to be. Yes, I'm happy that my life has turned out this way, but it wasn't easy.
Yes.
You know, so it is true that as somebody who has had to take on the responsibility because of situations and circumstances, you become that. You become that. And sometimes we need to forgive. We need to forgive these people because they come out as harsh sometimes. They come out as not sensitive.
Yeah.
But it's because they feel if I don't push hard, you know, if I don't push you, if I don't do this, that it's not going to get done.
Yes.
It's quite a responsibility.
Yeah.
And also I've learned to also forgive my parents because for the longest of time I thought, yeah, guys, but you guys put me in this situation.
Sure, look at that, eh?
Dad, had you not died, I wouldn't have had to take up this role. You know, had my sister also not died, then she would have continued being the elder sister. And I've had to learn to say, hey, it's life. You know, if anything, I've become stronger.
Yeah.
Not born and nothing can get me down now.
Yeah.
I'd have to be hit by a truck probably, but
Yeah.
nothing can put me down because I've had to build this resilience.
How does one build that resilience? Because even in the realm of entrepreneurship and business, or even those building their careers, there are always going to be stumbling blocks along the way. There are always going to be those speed humps and potholes. How do we navigate them while still remaining optimistic about the future, but thickening our skin to be able to endure the tough times?
Ask for help. Go. I've had to learn to ask for help because you can't do everything on your own.
Yes.
And every time you fall, you feel as if you can't get up.
Yeah.
The only way you can get up is you ask for help. Say, guys, I can't anymore. What do I do now? There are people, you'll be surprised how many people are willing to help you.
True. We just have to speak up.
You just have to speak up and ask.
Put up your hand, yeah.
When did you start dreaming again? Because there was a point where you were like, you know what, let me put Zanele a little bit on the back burner so that these other ones can be able to rise. Let me start working, start bringing in an income. When did you start saying, okay, now we are Team Zanele again and bringing ourselves to the forefront? We're going to run businesses. We're going to pursue the things that, you know, ignite us and sets our soul on fire. How did that journey come about?
Sure. It came in a very hard way. This was after losing my children.
Sure.
So I lost 3 of my children. One was 9. She just turned 9 years old. The other was 3 months, and one was a miscarriage. You know, so at that point I thought, I am done with this thing called life because, you know, it was my dad, it was my grand, it was my sister, and now it's my children.
How did you lose your children?
Sure. The first one, the 3-month one, she went to bed and she just didn't wake up.
Oh my gosh. Is that infant Cox syndrome thing I see?
Sudden infant death.
Sudden infant death.
Yes.
That is devastating.
It is. So I put her on her tummy as per normal.
Yes.
And that was it.
Sure.
She just didn't wake up. I thought I was dreaming. And that was in 2018. Because she came in August and she passed, not in August. She came in August and she passed in December. And I was supposed to be now going back to work because my 3 months at home was coming to an end. Now having to go back to work and, you know, people don't know whether now to say congratulations with the baby or to say condolences. What do your colleagues say?
Because they haven't actually seen you since.
They haven't, but now they've had to come to the funeral.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. Then I got back onto my feet. You know, like, okay. It was 2015, sorry. Yeah, then in between, not in between. Yeah, in between I miscarried. The things I didn't know I was pregnant. So I didn't bond,
Yes.
but I just had pains.
Yeah.
I just felt these pains are just horrible. What's happening?
Yes.
I couldn't explain it. Little did I know that I was having a miscarriage.
Sure.
Goodness.
Until my husband said, you need to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is not normal. You know, we went in and then I got the explanation that this is what happened. You miscarried. I said, but I didn't know I was pregnant.
Exactly.
You know. So I think that's when now the pain came in, that
Yes.
also guilt. How do you not know? How do you not know you're pregnant? How do you not know these pains? You know, because then I started thinking, had I gone in early? Then a lot of therapy, and then I went back to my feet again. And then in 2018, 2018 was the hardest because I was expecting.
Okay.
I was expecting my now 6-year-old. And my daughter, Onobushe, who was born with Rett syndrome. Now, what is Rett syndrome? It is, it's a what do they call it? It's something that affects the development of the brain.
Okay.
And it only happens to girls. So it's something to do with an X and the Y chromosomes. So as it happens to the boy child, he doesn't make it, he doesn't live.
See.
So it's only girls that get this. So what this thing does, it kills the child's development. So at the age of 2, she stopped walking.
Sure.
Then
So they regress.
yes, she lost her speech. At the age of 3, she was back fully on a nappy. Then obviously she went to schools. We took her to special schools. Yes, I had a full-time helper. And then at the age of 6, we got her a wheelchair. Because then the doctor said, you know, she will never walk.
Sure. Wow.
So she was in a wheelchair. She had braces on. So, and every 6 months she went in for something called a Botox. Now, Botox, not the one that people do in their faces. This is to help with her feet because her feet started bending inwards.
Okay.
So the Botox was just meant to help.
Just to stretch it out a bit.
Yes. So now, after the Botox, she needs to put on a cast. Every time that cast comes off, now remember now, her legs already, she's got no control of her legs. So when she sits like this. So after the cast, now we need to retrain her legs back to sit straight. Then she was epileptic. 2018, during Easter holidays, she went to bed, had an epileptic attack in her sleep,
Sure.
and she was gone.
Wow. That's so sad. Yeah.
That was the hardest because I was expecting. So she passed in April, and I was due in June.
Sure.
So, yeah, I honestly, if I didn't die then, because how do you grieve for one and make sure that you're still protecting the one you carry?
Exactly. That's so difficult. Yes. And I guess also with her age, you had already developed a bond.
Yes.
This was a person, and you had developed your routine and everything. What do you want the world to know about caring for a child that's special needs? Because I think sometimes it's a different perspective that we often don't talk about. And I sometimes think that people don't realize that as a parent, you just love your child.
Yes.
You just love this gift
Yes.
that you've been given, and it doesn't matter the packaging.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine how terribly devastating and disorientating that must be for you
Yeah.
to have gone through that.
It is. You can't get over something like this. All I can say is God doesn't give children who need extra care to parents who can't handle it.
Sure. Wow.
Because I had to do this with my husband.
Yes.
The two of us were there as a team. I always say, Nobuhle showed us what love was. Unconditional love. Because you go beyond, that you're constantly in the hospital. You need to change that diaper. You need to make sure she's eating. You learn to develop a language. I mean, she couldn't speak.
Yes.
But
you would
communicate with her because we knew, okay, when she makes that sound,
Yes.
she's calling us. When she makes this sound, she's hungry. Even her cries, you start knowing, okay, this cry says, pick me up. This cry says, come play with me. This cry says, I'm hungry. Or this cry is saying, there's something uncomfortable.
Yes.
So, okay, it could be maybe we need to turn her, we need to change the way she's sitting, or we need to change her. So you learn how to communicate with her. And honestly, sure, the love, and there's a time when the two of them were there, Uzianda and Nobush. There's a picture, we've got one picture where we took a picture of the two of them, and I've got it framed in my house because I'm saying, my two angels, they were sitting together for this picture, and little did I know that they'll both be gone.
Sure.
Yeah. So, to every parent who's got a child with special needs, you weren't given that child by mistake.
Yes.
There's a kind of love that's been given to you to share with this child.
Yeah.
And nobody else will understand but you. And people will stay because people love to stay. What's wrong with your child? It's okay. It's okay. You need to know that not everybody who says things, they're trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
Some people's comments are, it's coming from a good place. It's just how they say it.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to have tough love. You have to just always be ready for those questions. What's wrong with your child? Why is the child in a pram? Because for the longest of time, we avoided using wheelchairs, and we just thought, let's make her life normal. Buy her normal shoes. Yes, we'll buy a size bigger so that it fits the brace as well. And children will stay. But mommy, she's too big for a pram. But mommy, why is the child sitting in a pram? And you need to toughen up because you can easily,
Yes.
burst.
Yes.
So it takes a special kind of parents to do this. And if you feel that it's getting too much, ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that's what I've heard from you, getting to a space where you can just, you talk about strength, but it's almost like strength comes in the humility of being able to say, hey, I need help.
Yes.
And of course, what I've heard from you as well is just in terms of, having your husband there
Yeah.
as well, going through, this experience.
Yeah, that's support, eh?
That support. And I'm just trying to think, going through all of this and then somehow you start a business. And I'm just like, okay. Wow, okay, that's so interesting. Okay, so like when did when did you start this?
So this came out of frustration, out of me not sleeping. After losing the children, I needed something that was going to help me cope. I wasn't sleeping. And when in the morning I was exhausted. So you're starting the day already on a negative, and I was grumpy. I was, so I needed to do something. So I started doing research. What can help me sleep? That's when the love for salts came in, and I started playing around with lavender and with the salt. And every time I started playing around, it changed my mood. And I'd take my long baths and I would sleep.
Really?
Honestly. So the birth of the business were my salts. Two of them. It was the lavender because I needed to sleep. And then it was the fatigue because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Because you're not sleeping.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
And I needed to function, And me functioning meant that I was able to communicate at work and not break down.
Yes.
Yes.
I was able to carry out as per normal. And I decided, okay, since this is working for me, my husband says it's also helping me and he's seeing a happy wife now.
Yeah.
I said, how do I share this with everybody? I started sending it to a few of my friends, and then I decided it's time for me to speak up, because every time I go into rooms and I speak to women about what I've gone through, somebody gets touched. So how's about I speak to women in a bigger group?
Yes.
Then I hosted my first event.
Yeah.
And that event was more about me speaking up.
Wow.
This is what happened. This is where I am. And this is how I'm coping. If you need help, let's talk. I can tell you what I've done. And there's a gift. I made little samples and I gave them the pink. Because I said, I'm fatigued. Let me share it with them. Then the feedback that I started getting from them, do you sell this? How much is it? I'm like,
Wow.
Do I sell this? No. Do you sell? And then I eventually said, okay, you know what? Maybe there's a business here. Yes. Maybe I can sell this. And then I started selling it. It's come in different containers. It's been changing. It started in a plastic container, and then the plastic container was not doing well. Then I went into a bottle, and then it was crystallizing. And then I was like, okay, maybe this really is a business. So I registered the business 2021.
Okay.
And I said, I'm doing this, and I've been doing it since. So it's the salts, and then my clients who said, but I don't have a bathtub. What do I do? I said, okay, what do you need? It's something for the shower. Then we came up with a body wash.
Oh, wow. Look at
This. And then from the body wash, somebody says, but why can't I get something that I can put in my hands? Something I can put in my hand there. Then we came with the hand lotions. So the business has been evolving.
It's evolved naturally.
Yes, it's what my
Yeah.
clients are asking for.
And it's interesting because sometimes, when people are looking at an idea, and they'll look at somebody else in a different industry to gain inspiration, and they'll look, let's say, at you and say, oh, they've got this. Yo, where do I even begin? And what I'm hearing from you also in this process is that, yeah, but I mean, you start in a certain place,
Yeah.
and you start listening to the customer base,
Yep.
and then you start providing some solutions
Yes.
to that customer base.
Yes. How can I help?
And that's how it grows, as opposed to, imagine you come out and there's like 50 different products,
Sure.
and that's also the beauty, I guess. I mean, I'm just assuming that as you're growing this, you're growing this, you and your husband, with your own finances and stuff. So, I mean, you take it step by step.
You do.
and then you're able to see, okay, this is what they need. Let's try that, and then you see the response.
True. And with another feedback that I was getting was that people are saying, we love them, but it's in a bottle. If it falls, it breaks. So transporting it to people, delivering it to people, it breaks. Then I've got people who said, but how do I join the business? I said, become a distributor.
Oh, wow.
Come buy in bulk and resell.
Yes.
But now a lot of my distributors, because they are people in the township, they don't have cars. The bottles were heavy.
Yes.
You can't carry 6 or more of these bottles. Now what? Then I said, okay, how do I make it easier for everybody to carry these?
Yes.
Then I went back to plastic. Because then I can carry them. If I can carry them, then they can carry them. Imagine trying to go to an exhibition and you need to go up
the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how many suitcases I've broken carrying my stock.
And also, it's that element where, as one's looking to grow, you start realizing, person where, I was working, salaried and so on, but here I need to go out,
Yeah.
share my story,
Yeah.
share my products. And then it didn't surprise me. I was going to ask you, how would you get it out? It didn't surprise me talking about doing exhibitions and so on, because that's what's needed.
Yeah.
Even just to get one completely out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
Is you to get out there. And sometimes even, face rejection, because lots of people are walking past, they see, and you're like, come here now. And and you don't come. So it's just through that trying process, yeah.
It is. Sure. I've had to learn, Uti, rejection doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
When somebody says no,
Yeah.
you're not going to die because they've said no so many times, Or you try and approach a person and say, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Because I feel people are busy, but the right person will stock.
Yes.
And also, I've had to learn how to approach people. No, you mustn't approach somebody like Uzbabam Binkunz. You need to approach them in a certain way to say, come in. That's another thing that I've learned at exhibitions, that people don't just want to come and see, but I approach you with my products. Okay, let me try it.
Yes. So it's
Yes. And then I'll say, okay, now rub it. Now smell it. How does it feel? How does it feel on your skin? You see, I told you. So, do you want a big one or a small one? Do you want one for a handbag or for the house? It's affordable. Come see. Now I've made that connection with you. I made you experience the products. So now what's going to stop you from buying? I've always said to people, don't take it light when somebody is buying out of pity. It's okay. It's still money for you. Because somebody will have a sympathy buy to say, okay, just buy something cheap then or affordable. What's it? Okay. It's okay for you to sell 20 rand in your pocket is a sell for you. To them, it's just another 20.
That's so true. And you may even find that in using the product, they love it and then they come back again. Tell me how the synergy works between life coaching and the products and how they actually complement each other.
Oh. People that come for life coaching are people that want some sort of help, some sort of healing, something that's going to help navigate.
Yes.
And there's nothing better than pampering yourself in the process.
Yes.
And I always say to people, the biggest thing that we do is we don't take care of ourselves because we don't make time for us. We say we are busy. So as part of the coaching, I say to most of my clients, make time for you. Whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, make time for you. And as part of making time for you, why don't you pamper yourself?
Absolutely.
Because in pampering yourself, you get to relax. When you're relaxing, it means you're able to sleep. When you're able to sleep, you're able to function in the morning.
Properly, yes.
And when you're able to function, you're able to make money, make time for your family. So you are able to live. And then my products are just there to help pamper you. You are struggling with sleeping, my lavender can help you. You're struggling with fatigue, my pink cherry will help you. You just want to relax. I've got serenity, And then I've got people saying, but what about the men? Yeah, I've catered for men as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes. I was about to ask.
It gives it for men as well, because the husband kept saying, all these things are pink and pink and pink. Why don't you do something for us? Then we've got the indigo men.
Okay.
Because it's darker, it smells masculine, and the essential oils that we've used there are specifically for men.
Oh, that's brilliant.
very good.
I love that.
So
What made you choose the name Sibahle? What is the story behind that, and what does the name mean?
it means we are beautiful, because we are, you know, with our struggles, with our pain, with our pasts, we carry our scars proudly. We're beautiful. And it is one of my daughter's names.
Oh, wow.
I wanted her legacy to live on. And this was one way of making sure that we don't forget her. So every time I say the name Sibahle, I'm actually speaking to her, saying, we will not forget you. And the brand is beautiful.
Yeah, that's absolutely
No, cool, man. And I guess as we're looking to wrap up here in this discussion, I mean, where do you see the brand growing and going to? And perhaps, I mean, if there are any lasting words or encouraging words that you'd have for, other would-be entrepreneurs looking to start, or, they've already started and you're like, this is a message I'd like to leave them with as well.
So we want especially to be able to help as many young people in the communities as possible. So we are working on a project it's a distributor project. We want to at least get 50 unemployed youth from the township on board for them to become distributors. Because we're saying, we know the economy is tough. There are no jobs. So we're saying, let's help you create your own jobs. Because sales, when you're in sales, you're self-employed.
Absolutely.
Because the number of sales that you make determines how much you're going to make. So we are starting this project to say, come join us. We're going to teach you how to sell.
Yes.
We're going to teach you how to market the brand. And we're going to teach you how to make it your own.
Yes.
So we're looking for 50 unemployed youth from the townships. We are going to be starting in Tembisa, and then we'll go through to the other townships. But we're saying there are so many young people in the townships who are unemployed.
Yeah.
And there are so many of them who are eager to work. So we're saying, if you want to work, you want to make something better of yourself, come through, come and join us, because like you always say, there's money everywhere.
Yes.
Everybody has got money. And by selling these products, you're not just selling, but you're creating a job for yourself. You're creating a job for your family. And for young entrepreneurs who want to come into the space, entrepreneurship is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's hard work. But like you always say, you wake up even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Even when you can't wake up, you wake up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you plan ahead. You do things that will help you on the days where you really can't do it. You've got backup.
Absolutely.
So entrepreneurship is beautiful. Start at the bottom. Start with what you love. Start with what you're enjoying, so that even when you can't do it, the passion you have for it pushes you.
Yes.
And don't reinvent the wheel. Just modify it. But everything is there. Just modify it. I mean, salt, how many companies sell bath salts? A lot. But who am I selling to? How am I selling it?
Yes.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks for that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Papa, what have been your takeaways from today's conversation?
It reminds me, because I'd read about this in books, the Nike story, and even when we were mentored by Ian Furr, who's the founder of Sorbet. And it's always the power of a story.
Yeah.
The power of a story in the entrepreneurial journey is so underestimated, because it's the only story that you've got to share, and that is your story.
Yeah.
That is your truth. And just how that's able to weave and shape the journey. It's important to tie the two together,
Yeah.
because that's part of what makes things different. Like you said, even like how we used to experience, and like you're talking about, there's sometimes companies offering similar products or things like that, and how to differentiate yourself. You be deliberate, especially in your story.
Yeah.
And then what I've heard from you, I mean, this is a powerful story.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's just something that I've taken to heart, especially from this. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think for me, my biggest takeaway has just been, that story of resilience. It's so powerful, and I think I want to even just acknowledge your bravery in telling your story, because you have every right to keep it to yourself, and nobody would even blame you for doing that. But actually saying that I'm going to share it so that it can help others and to keep my children's legacy alive, I think that is so powerful. And I promise you, there's so many lives that are going to be impacted by that and that are already being impacted by that. It really is such a story of resilience. And it also reminds me that it's not over.
Yeah.
We're continuously in the race, and sometimes we may take a pit stop, may drink a glass of water on the side, but we get back into the race because we haven't yet crossed the finish line. And I was listening to something this morning, and it's something I always remind myself of, especially when days are a little bit dark. And it's a song, and one of the quotes in the song says that the midnight is almost over and the sun will shine again. And I think this is a beautiful example of that, because you went through your midnight.
Yeah.
But now you are able to bask in the sun shining again. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Wow, monetizers, this has been such an inspiring story. Like I said, I had a sneaky suspicion that we're going to hang on to every single word that Zanele shares, because she is such a phenomenal and special human being who is building such an incredible business. We will certainly make sure that we share all of her details within the description box. Please buy Sibahle bath salts. Be in contact with her if you would like to become a distributor and be part of her project and program. I think that it's something definitely well worth plugging into. So thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Until next time, bye-bye for now.